Welcome to the Content Creation Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Jen Liddy. Today, I am talking about how to stop asking permission and why we want to do this, what it really looks like, how it affects our content, how it affects our businesses. And the really big reason I'm actually talking about this is because December is a month where it's really easy to burn out. We've not only got a lot going on with our families, with our holidays, with all of the expectations that we have for ourselves and that other people have of us, but also it's a time of year where people are often saying, what's going to happen in 2022? I need to get my act together for January. I need to be ready to go for January. And I used to do that too. What I have found is that energy, especially when 2020 hit, and then again when 2021 hit, I thought I was supposed to be so ready. I was raring to go. And then, there were lots of other plans in store for me. So today I want to talk about this idea of asking permission and validation. And so I want to start with this scene from the 1970s where my sister, who is the queen of, bye mom, I'm going out to play. And she would leave, hop on her banana seat and drive off on her bike. And only moments later, my mom would register that Tracy had said something to her. Then my mom would yell down, don't go out until you finish the vacuuming. But my sister was gone and she didn't really wait around for permission. And it gave her this freedom in her life to just do what she wants to do. And I have been kind of 180 degrees different from my sister, always waiting on approval. Did the vacuum tracks on the seafoam green carpeting match up exactly? Please give me validation so that I could go out and play. And really what I've come to understand is that seeking validation is another form of looking for permission. Now, I have done this. I don't even know when it started, right? But I remember seeking approval and validation from my teachers way back when. I remember even being brokenhearted when my sixth grade teacher, Mrs. Wilson, was really disappointed in something that I did. And then it never really stopped from there. Babysitting jobs, after school jobs, summer jobs. And then, of course, my professional life as a hospital grant administrator. There was a woman in my office who was she was older than me. She had a law degree and a PhD. She had a business degree. It was she was really amazing to me. I was always seeking her validation. And then, of course, I became a teacher. And in the districts I worked in, they were highly regulated because of parent involvement. And so if you wanted to teach something that was off the dead white man curriculum, you really had to get a lot of permission. And I was always seeking validation from those who were kind of in charge of me. So what I realize is this idea of seeking permission is kind of a safety net that we want to put in place for ourselves. It means maybe somebody has our back. Maybe there's somebody standing next to us. And if it all goes to shit, at least we're not the only one, right? Somebody told us this was a good idea. So it's almost like having permission or seeking permission is like having an expert next to you that said, great idea, move forth. It's bound to work out. Then, as you know, you start your own business. And at some point, the truth settles in pretty quickly that nobody's sitting in an office somewhere waiting to give you permission. As an entrepreneur, you might seek permission or validation or approval from a coach, a mentor, a marketing team, your business manager. But here's the truth about that. No one can promise you that any specific strategy or tactic will work 100% to help you reach your goals. And then secondly, nobody who gives you advice really has any power over you. They can't make sure that you're going to do this thing, because even if your beloved, well-trusted, well-respected mentor gives you permission, no one's holding your feet to the fire to actually do the thing. Ultimately, everything rests in your hands as an entrepreneur. Now, some entrepreneurs absolutely love this part of being an entrepreneur. They love that they don't have to get permission from anyone. They can go be their rebel maverick self and be as spontaneous as they want to. And it sounds great to them. But what I found from a lot of entrepreneurs is it is exactly not having that safety net, not having any real permission that is so overwhelming and paralyzing to them. So this is what burns people out. And all month, I want to talk about ways that we can reduce the burnout, especially when it comes to creating content for our business marketing, because it really can feel like a huge churn that burns us out. So The most important thing you can do right now to have a successful 2022 is get your energy where it needs to be, where you feel full, where you can show up at your 100% and focus clearly so that you feel good about where you're headed next. And you can't do that if you're depleted. So if you're like me and have had a habit of waiting for permission or seeking permission, that has probably contributed to your exhaustion in your business. So you get it, right? But why is giving ourselves permission such a tiring, difficult thing? Well, think about your past. Think about the decisions that you've made that haven't worked out, where you've quote unquote screwed up or done the wrong thing. And I'm again putting air quotes around both of those things. And whatever you've done has cost you time, money, energy, or even it might have cost you a relationship. And now because of that, it's incredibly hard to trust yourself. So no wonder we start seeking permission from others who have been there, who claim they have the expertise, they have the right system. Basically, we're always looking for somebody with a proven, silver bullet, a method that will work for us. Now, this seeking can really burn you out because if you try strategy after strategy, tactic after tactic, buying course after course, but you're never actually seeing any progress, then you're probably stuck in a permission seeking loop. And that probably means you have also tried some strategies or tactics that you don't enjoy, but they seem to work for other people. So you do it and you completely feel out of alignment, or you don't trust that you could make a decision that works for you. So I want you to stop here. If any of this is resonating, it's time to get a little bit honest with yourself and say, am I a permission seeker? Now, I'm going to say, before I really sat down and thought about outlining this podcast for you, I would never have put myself in the camp of a high-level permission seeker. But when I started looking back at my history and I had example after example just come right up, I was like, I am a validation seeker. I'm an approval seeker. I don't think a lot of people necessarily would think that about me at first glance, because I'm always talking about like doing it your way. But I want you to understand, I had to admit this to myself. So I want you to give yourself the gift of acknowledging if this is true for you also, because it's very normal. It's okay. And it's just a habit. And remember, we can't change any of our habits until we become aware of them. So that's the very first thing. Do you seek outside permission, validation, or are you looking for somebody to give you the acceptance that you're looking for, right? To sign off on it almost, the permission slip. And then the second thing is, do you also see how searching for outside permission really comes from you not trusting yourself? And this is what will exhaust you, because I'm sure you've already seen there is no shortage of experts out there promising you that if you just do X, you're going to get the Y that you're looking for, the solution that you really want. So first, you have to admit that to yourself. And then you have to say, okay, fine. This is me. What am I going to do about it? How do we get out of this permission seeking habit? Well, it's merely all about building our trust back with ourselves. And the best place when we're starting to build trust back with ourselves, when we've been cheating on ourselves for too long, is to start with some low-hanging fruit. What do I mean by that? I mean, look for things that don't have a huge impact, that are low risk, but that you can see some fast wins. So here are 2 ways to help you earn your trust back and give yourself permission when it comes to content creation and marketing. First, now I've spoken about this one a lot, but it's decide where you should be for your marketing, which platforms work for you. I won't go into great detail about this here because I've talked about it many times before, but it's really time to get serious about the platforms that you use to share your content. Where do you need to give yourself the permission to get off some of the platforms that you just can't sustain anymore? For example, are you not seeing traction on Instagram? Would a Pinterest strategy work better for you to create more sticky, longer lasting content so that you could maybe drive people from there to your YouTube channel? Is Instagram just too much of a churn for you? Where do you need to give yourself permission to go all in? So where can you get yourself permission to let go? Where can you give yourself permission to go all in? Maybe it's time to go all in on that email list you've been building slowly, but you really haven't reached out to them. Commit to sending them a weekly email and give yourself permission to share offers with them that will pay you. What do you need to do to move the needle and give yourself permission with some low-hanging fruit? The second thing you can do with your content is just decide to say less. I know you're an expert. I know you have a lot to say, and I know your audience has quite a lot to learn in order to get the results they're looking for. But no matter how much you share, if you're getting very little traction, and it doesn't matter whether it's emails or podcasts or videos, but you're not getting the engagement that you're looking for, it's time to really think about how to say less, how to be more to the point, how to make things more digestible for your audience in your content, rather than like spending time researching LinkedIn hashtags or doubling down on your Pinterest strategy or spending hours creating reels. What if you just really focused in on using the exact right words and saying less to your audience so that they can really absorb it? Now, what I find in this realm is that the biggest problem with people saying too much, first of all, is that they're fire hosing their audience and they're trying to tell them everything in one email, one podcast, one post. And then the second thing is that they're not using their audience's words. And next week, I'm going to talk much more deeply about how to use the right words for your specific audience to stay out of content burnout. But if you think you're saying too much and you're not using their words, that's the second place that you can really start to hone your content and get more traction and give yourself permission to do some low-hanging fruit there. Okay? So for this week, I just want you to be honest with yourself. We're all about staying out of burnout. So do you seek permission from others before making a decision? That's the first thing I want you to admit to yourself. 2, have a conversation in your mind about, is that keeping you from what you really want to have, be, or do? And then 3rd, where can you start taking some baby steps to practice earning your own trust? Now, whether the outcome is good or bad, it's inconsequential. What we're trying to do here is get you to trust yourself. So if you do something and it doesn't work, that's an aha, like, oh, that doesn't work. I can let go of that thing. If you do something and it does work, great, do more of that. But you don't have to be perfect, having the perfect outcomes to give yourself permission. Constant permission seeking is burning you out. And right now, we need your energy. We need your words. We need your content. Your audience needs your expertise. So permission granted to grant yourself permission. Now, if you need help with your content because it's just not easy for you and it's not sustainable, join us over in the Content Creator Studio. Every week, we are really honing in on actually getting your content done. It's not a ton of learning. There's a little bit of learning, a lot of doing. And that's really what most people need. So we can customize it for you so that you can get your content confidence up and get yourself out into the world. You can find us at jenliddy.com/studio and join before the end of the year, because I know that you could use some help getting this content overwhelm out of your brain. I hope this is helpful for you. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please leave me a review if this is helpful and share this with that friend of yours who's always on the content creation treadmill. I would love to hear it. Leave any comments below, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.